There's a moment most people never talk about. That quiet place between giving up and giving in, where you've prayed so many times the words feel hollow and silence is the only thing that answers back. That's where this story begins. Her name was Amara, a young mother living in a small apartment in the middle of an ordinary city, carrying an extraordinary weight. She had lost her job 3 months earlier, her savings were nearly gone, and the person she thought would always be beside her had walked out the door without looking back. She wasn't dramatic about it. She didn't cry in public or post about her pain. She just got quieter, smaller, like she was trying to take up less space in a world that had already made her feel invisible. One evening, she sat by her window, watching the rain fall, and whispered something she hadn't said out loud in a long time. She said, "If you're there, I need you to show me." Nothing happened, at least nothing she could see. The next morning, her daughter tugged her sleeve and pointed to a crack in the ceiling where a small flower had somehow grown through the plaster. It had no business being there. No soil, no sunlight, no explanation. Just a tiny purple thing blooming in the most impossible place. Scientists call it a phenomenon of adaptive survival. Plants will find light through concrete, through glass, through what appears to be solid and impenetrable. They don't stop growing because conditions aren't perfect. They simply redirect. Amara stared at that flower for a long time. She didn't get a job that week. She didn't get a call saying everything was better. What she got was something smaller and stranger and more profound. She got the ability to keep going, not because her situation changed, but because something in her perspective shifted. There's actually a name for this in psychology. Researchers have studied people who pass through severe hardship and come out not broken, but deepened. They found something consistent across cultures, across religions, across continents. People who felt held by something larger than themselves during their darkest moments reported not just surviving, but transforming. They weren't rescued from the storm, they were changed inside it. Ancient desert communities understood this without the science. They built the concept directly into their language. In Hebrew, the word often translated as to wait on God doesn't mean passive sitting. It means to twist together, like threads being braided. The idea wasn't that you stop and do nothing. It was that in the waiting, you were being woven into something stronger. Amara didn't know any of this. She just knew that flower shouldn't have been able to grow where it grew. Over the following weeks, things began to shift. Small things at first. A neighbor who offered to watch her daughter. A former colleague who remembered her name. An opportunity so quiet she almost missed it. None of it looked like divine rescue. It looked like Tuesday. But she began to notice a pattern. Not that hard things had stopped happening, but that she was no longer alone inside them. That something or someone was threading light through the cracks she thought were only damage. There's actually a name for this in Japanese art, kintsugi, the practice of repairing broken pottery with gold. The philosophy behind it says that the broken places aren't something to hide. They are where the gold lives. The fractures become the most luminous part of the whole piece. Maybe abandonment was never the story. Maybe the silence you've been sitting in isn't emptiness at all. Maybe it's the space where something is being carefully, quietly rebuilt. And maybe the moments you felt most alone were actually the moments you were being held the most gently, too gently to feel like force, just present enough to keep you breathing, just constant enough to bring a flower through a ceiling on an ordinary morning when a mother needed one reason to believe.